Kathryn? Hello, everybody.
Hello.
I see the AIA Nova women in the back and some on the side. So welcome to everyone. This is one of my favorite topics, talking about myself. But you'll see that I actually spent a lot of time with these issues and dealing with work-life balance. So I have a question for everyone. Clap if you were born after 1982. Okay, so all of you who clap, I've been licensed as long as you've been on this earth. So you can figure out how old I am, maybe from my conversation. I have a lot to say. I know I have a time limit, and I will just kind of get going here with my conversation. Oh, thank you. So I've been talking about women and work-life balance for a little bit, about 5 years actually. I've been doing some activities with the African American women, and just a little bit of history while the slide comes up. When I was licensed in 1981, I took the exam in 81, but I didn't actually get my license until 82. I was the 20th African American woman licensed in the United States. So if you think about how few women there are, and it was a surprise to me, but that really has a lot to do with how come I'm active in the profession still, because we still need a lot of women to be in the profession and to be active and to be successful. So work-life balance means a lot of things to everyone. Everyone has their own issues, their own challenges, and everyone's going to have their own way of working through architecture and their own way of seeking balance in the profession. Some of us have other things that we deal with. As I was coming through the profession, race and gender, my age was a big factor actually for a lot of my career, how young I was while I was doing some of the things I was doing. Socioeconomic status, what country club do you belong to or do your parents belong to? There's a lot of things that impact your work-life balance. I just want to mention last night I was at an AIA function in Tom, Maine, received the gold medal, and I was so proud because he actually acknowledged his wife, who he's been married to for 31 years, and they're partners. And just to have him in the forum of the AIA giving credit to her for his winning the gold medal, I thought was, he's a good role model, a great role model for all the men that were in the room. And we need more people like him to support what we do. So I framed my discussion with some images and some dates that are kind of important to me. In 1965, I moved to this area. I basically lived in this area right south of Arlington. Potomac Yard is right here. I work here on King Street. My first job was over here, also on King Street. And one of the things that really framed my progression to the profession started when I was in 8th grade, and I started actually studying architecture when I was very young at a library right here. So you see my universe is relatively small, but I've been able to do a lot within that framework. Then I also was very fortunate to have my first job actually before I started architecture school, which was the city of Alexandria. And again, this was an opportunity for me to actually figure out that I can do something that the men that I were working with respected me and so forth. So by coincidence, I had the opportunity to design this park, which is in the city of Alexandria, between my graduating from high school and my entering architecture school. And one of the things that did for me was help me realize I could basically do anything. I didn't know about all these things that were going to come afterwards, but it was really important for me as I went along through my career to know that there are some men out there who do support women through this crazy professions. So I went on to architecture school. I went to Rensselaer and had a great time there. I loved it. And one summer, this is a story. I'm going to be telling some stories. One summer, I took design one summer at Woods Hole, which is in upstate New York. And I was working on a project, had a great design, and my professor told me that it was awful. I needed to start over. And this is like halfway through the summer. So I'm like, this is a great design. It's related to the terrain, and it relates to the forms of the earth around the lake and everything. I didn't want to start over. I didn't want to start over. So what did I do? I started over. So we come to the final presentation, and can anyone guess what happened?
You liked the first design better.
Huh?
You liked the first one?
No. What happened was one of his best boys presented my original project.
Oh.
So that was the lesson I learned there was, really stick to what you want to do with your life, with your design, with your career. And that's the other lesson I learned is that people in authority don't always have your best interest in mind, and that you really have to take ownership of your career, your education, and make the best of it with the resources that you can find. And they're not always the resources that you think they should be, your professors, your boss, or whatever. So that was a lesson I learned. It was a really hard lesson. It is something, again, it's one of those moments that really made an impact on me and my work-life balance. The other thing I learned in architecture school was you didn't have to stay up all night to work on your project. So I ended up having a good time. In architecture school, I knew I wasn't a designer. I wasn't the faculty's favorite student. I figured that out early. And it really actually made me have a good academic experience without trying to, bend to the wishes of the professors, which is hard to do when you're a student. So I have creds. When you're looking at work-life balance as a woman, I really encourage you to get all of the credentials that you feel you may need to get. Get it, from my perspective, get them as soon as you can. If you have to work and go to school, which one of my daughters is, I have 2 grown daughters now, work and go to school. Get that foundation that you need and that you want for your career. Try to talk to people and figure out what you may want to do and how you can achieve that. So it was really important for me to have a great foundation and to so that I could use that as I went through my professional development to fall back on. So we're up to 1985. You see the little numbers in the corners. 1985 was the year I got married. Actually, I got engaged. We got married in 1986, but the photo is actually from about 1985. I actually met my husband. Someone in the room actually works with my ex-husband. He's a fantastic superintendent. And we have 2 beautiful children. And this was early 1980s, was a time of another recession. CAD was actually being developed. I was actually the CAD manager for this project. If the people in my office knew that, they'd be like, "You have got to be kidding, you don't know CAD." Anyway, but it was really important for me as a young person to embrace the challenge, because the principals came to me. They said, "We have this new technology we're learning, and we want you to be the one that helps the firm move through this project." So I was a CAD manager. I learned a lot. I actually met a lot of people because I was able to travel early in my career to take on that challenge. Another thing that I learned during this period of my time, this period of my career, is CYA. CYA, you know what that is? Okay. Document everything. for for a lot of reasons, for your professional reasons, for your project, as well as for your things that relate to human resources, your salaries, benefits, and things like that. Part of the reason was we didn't have computers back then to put all this information in, so you really need to keep everything in a document everything so that when you had your review, which really didn't happen, but you kind of forced your boss to talk to you every once in a while about a raise. You could show him, well, we talked about this last time. This is what we agreed on. This is where we are not. I want to go back actually to just before this, the firm I was at just before this, Joanne Murray, who's in the back. She and I worked together. And this is something I don't know if women do anymore, but we used to have meetings in the ladies' room. Because, we were working in a predominantly male environment. We would find things out that we weren't supposed to know. So we would gather each other up, and there's 3 or 4 people out of 100. There wasn't a lot of us, and we'd go in the ladies' room, and we'd have these little meetings. So that was the sort of, the kind of networking that we were doing at the time. But it's really important. I think the lesson is it's really important to know that you need to find people within your organization that you can trust and that you can have honest conversations with. And in order to enable you to work your way through some of the challenges that you may have. For example, with the some of the policies that don't exist for us as women, understanding how does the firm really treat you if you become pregnant, or if you have a parent that you need to talk to take care of. What, we have the written policies, but what really can be the aftermath of you taking off, and knowing what some of the other women have gone through in your firm. So you really do need to have a network of people that you can trust and work through. Okay, this building, this was 1987. That was the year my daughter Crystal was born. She's 25, she'll be 26 in July. She just graduated from architecture school. Somehow she got all through undergraduate without thinking about it, then she decided to go to graduate school. So I'm showing this project because this is a project where I was working for a firm that really treated everyone like a family member. We went through the recession. The principals basically didn't pay themselves for very long periods of time. They never laid anyone off. It was a recession like the one we're going through. They didn't lay anyone off, and they really treated everyone with respect through the whole process. The firm ended up closing down about 1982 and 1983, but really it was an organization where you knew that whatever you did you were respected for it, and that's another lesson to learn, or another thing to look for when you are looking for a place to work. You need to be respected. No matter what you do, you've got to have that feeling. Otherwise, my suggestion is you find someplace else, because it's not going to be a healthy environment for you. And in order to succeed and to thrive, you have to be happy and healthy. So this building is 14 stories. I was 8 months pregnant when we were doing the punch list. So, I talk to people, I tell people, and they're like, you've got to be crazy. Well, no, I was in excellent shape. It was great exercise actually going through the punch list on this project, because I walked, all the things that your obstetrician tells you to do. You go walk and stay healthy and drink water and all that stuff. Well, it was actually part of my routine in the latter part of the pregnancy. So that, if you're healthy, you can do things like that. That's not going to be everyone's path, but it is something you can do. And then 3 years later, in 1990, I gave birth to my youngest daughter, Amber, and I was working on this project at the time, but really wasn't able to continue to take my kids onto the job site. I did when Crystal was little. She actually saw the buildings that I was working on. She got to a point where she could pick out deficiencies in the work. You know, and the contractors didn't really like that. And you know, this is really shows the difference in the laws as well, because you can't bring kids on a job site anymore. But back then, there weren't that many rules. How much time do I have? Okay, so this is a story about, well, I'll skip that one. It doesn't really have anything to do with work-life balance. Next one. Okay, anyone know this building here? Yeah. Okay, well, I was flipping around and looking for some stuff on this project, and then I found out that they're getting ready to redo it. So I guess that makes me an old architect. You know, all I can say is that you know, working in this profession and giving it all that you can, which you can do, there's some really great things that can come out of it. And you just need to figure out how to balance your family and your spouse and those sorts of things with what you want to do as an architect. Okay, tools. Now, half of the things up here, most of you have never even heard of. But the point is that you have to, you know, to be a woman, to be an architect, to do all the things you want to do, you really have to stay on top of the tools. Because tools give you time. They give you that extra time to do the things that you need to do. To take care of your kids, do your grocery list, you know, you buy your groceries online or whatever. So it's really important to know what tools you have available, to stay on top of them, and to really take advantage of them. So I spent about 8 years full-time at Howard University. That's how I rode through one of the recessions. That was when my kids were younger and in elementary school and doing sports and things like that. You know, if you can take that kind of break in academia, it gives you a lot of flexibility with raising your kids. And I probably would not have been able to do what I've done if I hadn't spent that 8 years at Howard. So this one just real quickly, work-life balance and your name. Okay, this is something that women have to figure out when they get married. Do you keep your name or do you change your name? Well, my bosses changed my name for me because they were gentlemen. They figured I got married, so my present for getting married from them, because we were in a recession, was new business cards. New business cards had my name that I go by now, Kathryn Prigmore. Well, you know, that was in 1986. In 2001, I'm working on a project at the Pentagon, and I'm sitting in a room, and I'm looking at this woman, and I'm like, oh, she looks so familiar. Who is she? She looks so familiar. Well, it turns out, to make a long story short, both of us had gotten married. Both of us had changed her name. Both of us had kind of morphed into these military-looking architects with blue suits and red, white, and blue. I mean, like totally different than we were as interns. And it turned out she was one of my best friends from my very first job. But without our name, we didn't know who we were. And it was the most bizarre thing. So, you know, there's no right or wrong about your name, but it is important to work-life balance, you know, your balance between your work and your life. But you really do have to think about that decision and what it may do for you or not do for you in the long term. Okay. This one, in 2002, I was elevated to fellowship. It's a real, I'll just say this very briefly, it caused trouble in the firm that I was with. People became jealous with that, and I ended up leaving the firm. So, you know, again, you need to strive for what you want to strive for, you know, achieve all your goals, but along the way, things may happen that you don't expect. I left, and everything has been fantastic since, but it was really a surprise to find that everyone didn't value the fellowship the way I did as an individual and the way all my friends and colleagues did. I mean, not colleagues, my mentors and those folks did. Real quick story, I went to another project at the Pentagon for a couple of years. Story about this, or the hint from this one is, have several pairs of shoes in your car, or I should have. Because the first day I get to the, we go to the meeting on the first day, and I had high heels. The parking lot was actually over here. I don't know if you all know the north lot of the Pentagon. It's like way over here. And we had to walk all the way over to that side. And I had high heels on. It was like 90 degrees in July. So make sure you have all kinds of shoes, you know, as backup so that you're comfortable. It's important. And then, you know, as you grow older, as I found out, you know, they stretch your knees and things like that. And it's true. It's really important, ladies, to have great shoes. Okay. Okay, this is the project. It's a very special project for the federal government, which I can't tell you what it is. Most of the work that I do now I can't really talk about. But I just wanted to bring this up because just like I'm looking out today and I'm seeing this diverse group of women, this was the first project that started construction in 2007, where the workforce was diverse. There were women out in the, you know, in the building working, and they weren't just the people sweeping up and, you know, holding the flag. The assistant project manager was a woman. The government representative, client representative was a woman. There were women just all over the place, and then the diversity of the workforce. Ethnic diversity was just great. And for 30 years of my career, I have been looking and waiting for that. And it's just really refreshing to know that that's more the norm than it was back then. So just a couple more slides. One is on top of all of the work I was doing and raising my kids basically by myself. I had my friends and my family help, but I've basically been a single parent most of my career. I did a lot of service, you know, so there's time for some of these other things if you want to fit those things in. It could be you want to become a marathoner or a parasailer or whatever. This just happened to be what I wanted to do with my extra time. And actually evolving out of that is this thing that we call Vortex. It started out as a mentoring and networking and personal development program for African American women architects. We've been doing it for 5 years all over the country, and it's, you know, we need to find vehicles for empowering ourselves. I think this program that Melissa's put on is really helpful for that, but we need to find other vehicles for empowering ourselves so that we can be successful. And I know my last slide is in memory of Barbara Lari, which a lot of you probably know. Excuse me, a lot of you probably know. Barbara and I have been friends forever. She is an extraordinary architect, woman, and the thing about Barbara, I think that relates to this program, is that she lived every minute of her day, 1,000%. And she taught me that, you know, I need to live it 1,000%.